Hi friends, I decided to go ahead and record a video working through door 1 instead of door 2 in case any of you who are maybe a little bit behind the rest of the class are going to work on door 1. I wanted to walk you through that specifically so that you're able to catch up to everyone else. So here we go. Basic tools we're learning are using the rectangle tool to draw things in scale. So I have brought this file in. You should not do that. You should use the paper copy and your scale rule to do the measurements that I'm about to do with my dimension tool. So the first tool you're going to start using, and we're going to go back to the rectangle tool to do this, is the rectangle tool and scale. Okay, so how this works in Vectorworks, if I want to draw a rectangle that is a specific size, right, I can, if you look at this little change in X and change in Y fly out, I can see how big it is on my cursor. If I hit tab, I can then type in what those dimensions should be. And the triangle X would be like X in the coordinate system, right? In a Cartesian coordinate system. The triangle Y is the change in Y in the Cartesian coordinate system. So if I'm going up and to this side, it'll be positive in both boxes. And if I go down and to that side, it's negative in both boxes and so forth. So we're actually gonna just type in this amount. I like 4'9.5" as my overall width for this box. So I'm gonna type that in, 4'9.5 inches. Then I hit tab again, okay? And so what has happened so far now is I have locked, oh no, that's not 4'9" at all. Let's go back in and do it. It's 3'2.5" for some reason. 4'9.5 inches. Much better. Okay. And then I'm going to do my change in Y, which was 7'8", we're going to say for the purposes of this adventure. And I hit tab again. Now, once I've hit tab twice, you'll see my rectangle is now locked where it should be. And you can click with your mouse and it will set it at that size. Okay. You can also come over here and take a look at it, right? And you'll see the width and the height, once it's selected, are in your object info, okay? So that's my first rectangle, right? That's the overall size of my door. Then I'm gonna come in and figure out some different segments, right? So I have this window side, and then I have the main door panel side. There's a little section here, right, where we have a strip of trim. So we may, figure out how to make that piece separate with the outside frame and then inset the window and inset the door, okay? So I'm gonna just real quick use this 1'5" measurement, which is sort of centered on that piece of trim. And I'm gonna use that to give me a guide as to where that trim would fall, okay? So let's just start by dividing out this whole rectangle that way. So I still have my rectangle tool. I'm gonna start moving it around again, right? This time I'm just going to type that 1'5" in, and then I can just snap to the bottom, okay? So now I've divided the door into its two half parts, okay? I can now trace this other side rectangle for the other side, and then I'm going to use this object info area to just shrink those two rectangles in a little bit on each side so that they will have that outside outline, kind of like we have here, right? So to do that, I change this dot, which is the anchor point, to the center. And I'm gonna just reduce them by, 2 inches in every direction, because that'll pull together all of those pieces and it should look a lot more like our final door. So I can do that actually by having Vectorworks do the math. So I can say -2 inches, enter, and it just shrunk towards the middle because the dot's in the middle. And I'll do the same thing on the height, -2 inches, enter, okay? So that's kind of getting me closer to looking like what we wanted it to be. So I'm gonna do that on this one also. Right? And there we are. So now I'm kind of getting there, right? I think the next thing I want to do is figure out this inside window and how to place it where it would go, okay? So I'm going to actually just reshape. I'm going to take a new little dimension tool out and measure this inside window shape, okay? So that's 9¼ and 5'11½". So we're going to just say 6 feet. And then I want to get a height from the bottom as well, because we're going to move it up to where it belongs, okay? So I'm going to start by drawing this rectangle out here in space, which is going to be 9¼ 9.25 tab, and we said 6 feet is closer to what we would want it to be, tab, so that gives us that shape, okay? Now I can use my cursor tool or hit my X key. I can center it by grabbing it with this bottom when it's in the plus sign version, right? So it's not reshaping, it's just in the plus sign. That lets me center it here. Then I can use Command M, which is the move tool. And I can use Command M, and that again lets me use Cartesian coordinates to move something to a specific place, okay? So in this case, I can't see what I want anymore because I moved the thing. 10⁸, we'll just say 10 inches from the bottom is where I would want that rectangle to be. So I use Command M and I say 10 inches please, and oh no, I did it in the X. That's not what I wanted. I need that to be in the Y direction, right? So 10 inches, there it is. Now I have that outline of my window, okay? Starting to come together for us, right? The next thing I might do, because that outline is on all the way outside of the window, is come in and help out with this little double line, right? The easiest way to do that is to go back and use your offset tool that you've used before. It looks like maybe, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. So let's try that distance as our offset, okay? And then you should be able to just click inside and you get that extra little line, right? If you want to, you can also come in and draw these panes of glass lines, and divide it up further that way. You can use a direct line, or you can make a bunch of rectangles. The thing I would do then on the other side is going to be to measure this actual door component, right? And figure out where this paneling will sit, right? Once I've done that, I can come in and use my offset tool to just add some extra lines in so that we're getting all of the sort of layers of the molding rendered on the drawing, okay? So if I start with the actual door panel, I'm gonna measure that again, and you can do this on your piece of paper. I'm gonna find its dimensions, create that panel, right? And then move it into place, right? So I'm gonna actually just do a 7'2" by 3' panel, and we're gonna see how that fits, kind of centering it in that space. So 7'2", oh no, 3 feet, 7'2", click, great. Let's say that's my door panel. Again, I'm gonna start by centering it up here on the bottom edge, and then I'm gonna just move it up, right? And in this case, it may make the most sense to grab it by the center and snap it to the center, okay? And we kind of see how it's now correct. And because we have a little bit of a weird perspective view down here at the bottom, this is a case where you might actually tweak the way that the framing pieces fit, right? In order for it to all be clear. Like it might be that all of these bottom edges should be aligned with the bottom edge of this door in order for it to make sense when we actually build it. We're just seeing some perspective happening here because of the angle of the camera, okay? So that may also make sense, right? Maybe it makes more sense instead of it sitting here that it comes down a little bit. I don't know, you're the designer, so you're going to make those decisions, right? You would then follow the same process you did to place this window panel in order to draw this outside rectangle, right? Place it up where it would go, which is a little bit higher on the bottom, or it's also in line with the bottom edge of this window, right? And in order to do that, you can take your rectangle, I'm gonna just do a rando rectangle and show you how this works, and use smart points, what's called smart points in Vectorworks. So if you pick this guy up and you're like, I want him to be aligned with the bottom of this window, All I gotta do is hover over that bottom corner until, see how it has a little red box around it now? Now I can slide over and it will stay aligned with that bottom edge, right? So that allows me to set that panel in aligned with that bottom edge, okay? You will, of course, make it the correct size. And you can then, after you've done that, you can grab it by the center and center it up to the center of the object as well, okay? If you hold shift while you're dragging things, it will snap it to your Cartesian coordinates, right? To your up and down or your left to right. So that's a good way to help you stay where you want to be. You can also even type in dimensions while holding shift in order to, like if you hit tab while holding shift and dragging in a direction, it'll let you type in the dimension of how far you're moving it in that direction, if that's something that also would be helpful to you. So I hope that this tutorial gets you the basic tools that we were going for with this project and also allows you to do this slightly simpler version of the door so that you can accomplish this in class today. All right, thanks friends. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.